Hello and welcome. Today let's dive into the world of GST, specifically the difference between composite and mixed supplies, also known as bundled supplies. These terms can get confusing, but understanding them is crucial for accurate filing of GST returns and also to avoid receiving notices from the GST department. Sometimes wrong classification can also lead to incorrect GST collection, which ultimately is borne by consumers like you and me. So, not just for businesses, even for consumers, it is equally important that we understand these terms so that we don't end up paying excess taxes. So, in today's video, let's understand the difference between composite and mixed supplies. Let's also go through certain tax planning strategies that businesses can follow, which in turn can benefit consumers like you and me. Let's start with composite supply. But before that, let's understand the similarities between these two supplies. 1. Both are bundled supplies, that is, it involves supply of two or more goods or services. 2. There is a principal supply and an ancillary supply. For instance, if you buy a car, you have to register it, so you have to pay road tax, insurance premium, etc. So here, car is the principal supply and road tax, insurance services are ancillary supplies. 3. Principal supply determines rate of GST applicable for the entire bundle. But the meaning of principal supply is different for both composite and mixed supplies, and we'll now understand this. When it comes to composite supply, you need to remember three aspects. 1. This involves supply of two or more goods or services as a set, so these can't be sold separately. 2. Principal supply here is the main product or the service that the buyer or consumer primarily wants. 3. Rate of GST is the rate as applicable for the principal supply. To have a better understanding of this, let's consider a scenario. Let's say you go to a furniture store to buy a wooden table, and let's say the basic price is Rs 30,000, and you want the store to deliver this table to your house. So the store executive tells you transportation would cost you extra, say Rs 1,000. Here, the wooden table is the principal supply because that is the main product that you want to buy, and transportation service is a supporting element, so it's an ancillary supply. This is a composite supply and one can't be supplied without the other. That is, there is no question of transportation if you don't buy the table. Similarly, there is no buying of table if it can't be delivered to you at your house. Let's now calculate the total price. The rate of GST for wooden table is 18% and for transportation, let's say it's 5%. Now, because this is a composite supply, you have to pay GST at 18% on the entire bundle. So, table 30,000, transportation 1,000 plus GST at 18%. So, total price is 36,580. Had it not been a composite supply, then the total price would have been table 30,000 plus GST at 18%, transportation 1,000 plus GST at 5%. Total 36,450, which is less than the price for composite supply. The difference may not seem much to you here, but if the price is high or the quantity is more or the rate of GST is high, then the difference also would be higher. And the key thing to remember is, in case of composite supplies, you end up paying higher taxes if the rate of GST on the principal supply is more than rate of GST on ancillary supplies. Now, mixed supply. Here also you need to remember three aspects. 1. Here, two or more independent products or services are offered together as a bundle, but these can also be sold separately. 2. Principal supply here is the good or service with highest rate of GST, whether or not this is the main supply, unlike composite supply where main product or service was considered as principal supply. 3. Rate of GST is the rate as applicable for the principal supply. Let's understand this better with the same example. That is, you go to a furniture store to buy a wooden table. Let's say you also want to buy a chair. Now, price for this bundle, that is table plus chair, let's say it is 40,000 plus GST. For ease of understanding, let's remove transportation from this example. Now, the rate of GST for wooden table is 18% and for chair, let's say it is 12%. Principal supply here is the wooden table because GST rate is 18% and ancillary supply is the chair with GST at 12%. This is a clear example of mixed supply because here one can be supplied without the other. That is, despite the fact that the table can be supplied without the chair, it is yet treated as a bundled supply. Let's now calculate the total price. Rate of GST for wooden table is 18% and for chair it is 12%. Because this is a mixed supply, you have to pay GST at 18% on the entire bundle. That is table plus chair 40k plus 18% GST. Total is 47,200. Had it not been a mixed supply, then the price would have been table 30k plus GST at 18%, chair 10k plus GST at 12%, total 46,600, which is less than the mixed supply. And the important thing to remember here is, in case of mixed supplies, you pay higher taxes if the rate of GST varies for each component of the bundle. Now the last part, tax planning strategies for businesses. 1. To review or restructure your product or service bundles. This involves regrouping bundled products or services wherever possible. That is, bundling products or services having similar rate of GST, or see if you can unbundle and offer principal supply and ancillary elements separately. Considering our first example, if the transportation is separately booked, then this would not be a composite supply. That is, if the consumer directly pays the transporter, GST on transportation can come down to 5%, or it can even be 0 if the transporter or the consumer is an unregistered person. Or when you sell 2 or more goods or services, instead of a single package, consider separate package for each item so that it is not considered as a mixed supply. So GST as applicable to the specific good or service would apply. Then instead of bundled discounts, businesses can consider offering separate discounts for each product or service so that the transaction is not a mixed supply. So that's the difference between composite and mixed supplies in GST. Remember, the key lies in identifying the principal supply and also if the elements can be sold separately. And for you consumers, see if these strategies are followed by businesses, because ultimately GST is paid by consumers like you and me, so don't pay more than you should. With this, it is a wrap on this episode. Hope it was informative. Thank you for watching.